You decide the victors. You control their fates. You make the call on hotshot.
Web analytics is the practice of gathering and analyzing user behavior on the internet. The gathered information is your data, as you've heard it referred to in conversations about internet privacy. It can include personal information like your gender, age, and location, as well as data about your activities on particular websites. Social media gathers whatever information you give it and also records which pages or hashtags you interact with, which ads you click on, and so on. Analytics has a symbiotic relationship with advertising. Ads are one source of analytics data. Any ad you click on will send some sort of analytics data back to the party who served the ad so that they can gauge the effectiveness of a campaign. Meanwhile, analytics results can be used to kill an underperforming campaign or to decide which version of a campaign to roll out. It can also be used for the practice of micro-targeting, in which the party who serves the ad can select with extreme specificity who will receive the ad. For example, a political campaign could micro-target white men between the ages of 45 and 65 who live on a particular block of Des Moines, Iowa. Understanding the full ramifications of internet advertising will require a basic understanding of the economic ecosystem it operates in. So briefly, let's explain a little bit about how this works through a specific, extremely limited example. Let's imagine that a large car company wants to advertise its new car online. Obviously, one of the first things it'll do is to put a giant banner ad on its homepage directing users to a page where they can get more information. They'll want analytics for that ad because they want to know how many users take the bait and click on it. In the tiniest possible nutshell, here's one way this could work. Our car company, A, hires a marketing firm, B, to create an eye-catching graphic for that ad. Then someone, probably an employee of A, puts that graphic on A's website with a link to the car's page. Then A hires an analytics implementation specialist company, C, to write some code to collect data on which users click on the ad. C's code sends that data to web analytics company D, which has massive servers that store all of the data collected from all of its customers and provides visualization tools to help them make sense of it. Then some analytics expert, probably in company A, but maybe in company B or C, will look at the data and make recommendations based on it. Did you follow that? I hope so, because that's only a fraction of the complexity of the real thing. I didn't even get into tag management systems, A/B testing, or any of the more cutting-edge tools that are supposed to make this whole thing seamless, but usually just mean paying yet another company or companies to do even more analysis of your data. And this is just the intra-site advertising ecosystem. Inter-site advertising, like when you visit an online store and suddenly ads for that store are following you everywhere, is a whole different ballgame. I don't know as much about this area, but it's a larger part of the advertising ecosystem, and it's similar to the way that ads work on social media, so I'm going to attempt a very rough explanation. Basically, this type of advertising is handled by some sort of broker, a third-party company in the case of a banner ad, or the site that the ad appears on in the case of advertising on sites like Facebook or YouTube. If car company A wants to advertise on a site that isn't its own, it'll use one of these brokers, company E, to create a campaign. This campaign will include the graphic of the ad as well as its targeting information, who the company wants to show the ad to, and how much the company wants to pay for that campaign. That money is paid to company E. Then, when an ad slot is available, because a user visits a page that includes a banner ad provided by that broker, or clicks on a monetized video, or so on, company E uses some automated process to decide which campaign, company A's or someone else, should be displayed. Typically, this process involves some sort of automatic bidding between company E's customers, where the more specifically targeted campaigns tend to pay more for users that meet their criteria, like our Iowan from before, or maybe users who have visited their site within the last 7 days. If company E is not the site that the ad appears on, for example, if I visit a news site that includes a banner brokered by company E, then company E will pay that news site a small amount for each ad shown. An ad shown on a site is called an impression. Company E, the ad broker, will pay the news site a much higher premium for click-throughs, that is, obviously users clicking on an ad, than for impressions. It might not seem like it, but this is a ridiculous oversimplification of the system. The point I'm getting at here is that when companies and lawmakers talk about your data, this is its true value. Not just the monetary amount that companies earn for selling data between themselves. Your data supports a gigantic, bloated ecosystem of marketing professionals, programmers, analysts, servers, ad brokers, and so on. And this ecosystem is only growing over time. Here ends the useful part of what I have to say. Now I'm going to put on my futurist hat and speculate wildly about a possible model of a future economic system that I think could arise based on the implications of everything I just explained. In her book, The Code of Capital, Katerina Pistor argues that capital is created not by the economy, but by the law. It's the legal code that determines someone's right to own something, which is to be the sole financial beneficiary of it. Think of a software patent. A company called Lodsys holds a patent that includes methods and systems for gathering information from units of a commodity across a network. This is an absurdly broad concept that could apply to almost any networked piece of software, but the legal code allows, at least nominally, for Lodsys to own that concept and to profit from it, and to sue anyone else who tries to profit from it without their okay. Now let's think about laws like Europe's GDPR or California's CCPA. Broadly, these are laws to protect consumer privacy, but in doing this, one of their main arguments is that consumers should own their data. This has become a rallying cry in anti-big tech circles. There's a general sense that it's unfair for companies to profit from data collected from the behavior of others, and that users should have some level of ownership over the data that they generate. Right now, it's generally argued under the guise of privacy, but if we accept Pistor's premise that the legal system is what creates capital, then how should we think about these laws? What are they doing if not transforming your data, your demographic information, your behavioral history, your consumption patterns, even your attention, into capital? Now let's hypothetically get on board with Andrew Yang for a minute. Let's accept his premise that advances in automation are about to cause a catastrophic restructuring of the economy that will leave massive swaths of the population, such as factory workers, retail clerks, and truck drivers, out of work and thus unable to support themselves. Under Yang's argument, the only answer is a universal basic income. But if we step back and look at this beautiful house of cards I've constructed over the course of this video, there's another path. These people still have something that the market has determined to have value, and that the legal system is in the process of codifying into capital: their data. Taken to its conclusion, this amounts to a private sector UBI, where individuals get a cut of the profits of the entire data ecosystem, plus anything still forthcoming. For example, if an AI is trained on a data set that includes images of your face or your tweets, are you entitled to a cut of any profits generated by that AI? Under a strict reading of data as capital, you might be. To be clear, this isn't some sort of utopia. Ultimately, the reason for all this data gathering is to more effectively sell shit to people or get you to vote in a particular way or so on, which means that the data of wealthier individuals would be worth more within this ecosystem. And the whole thing really is this bizarre economic Ouroboros where companies would essentially be paying you to consume their goods. But really, what is the economy if not that?
New from Wraith Babes, the hottest girls in the nastiest situations. Select view.